who you are messing with!
Blade 2, directed by Guillermo del Toro, was released 4 years after the original film. Returning as writer on this project is David S. Goyer, and believe it or not, a returning actor to this film is Matthew Schultz, who is mostly known for the Fast and Furious movies. He was in the original 1998 film as a different character named Crazed. And in this film, 4 years later, he plays Chupa, which sounds a whole hell of a lot like Tupac. I can't get that out of my mind.
I asked New Line for every single piece of film shot by Norrington on the first one. And I went in and I watched, I saw every single piece of raw dailies in that movie. Everyone, all the takes. And then I analyzed the movie. And then I said, this is what I don't want to do with it. This is what I'm going to preserve because I wanted to give it continuity. And after analyzing every single piece of dailies, I knew what the style of the fight was, and I knew how to amp it up one step or two. How to make it the logical evolution of what Norrington had proposed on that one. And I wanted very hard to serve the franchise.
As we all know, Guillermo, the great Guillermo del Toro, has his own unique style of directing.
You have to put out the tongue a little more.
They were fake, I mean, they were props. They were razor blades with a sharp edge.
Good. Beautiful.
I thought that was a nice image. You know, kind of a very vampiric way to kiss.
Guillermo del Toro is one of those filmmakers, when you watch a film that he has directed, you know it's a Guillermo del Toro film. And with Blade 2, it is no different. He puts his own unique stamp on this franchise.
I made a lot of notes watching my anime DVDs on what made anime unique and the type of action and violence in anime non-offensive. What is fun violence in anime action? And I made my notes, and I have a diary of ideas and notes that I keep, and I made enough notes in that to start storyboarding stuff before even we scouted locations and to settle down on a style for the movie.
I can praise the visuals, the technical aspects, the fight choreography, the sound effects, Blade's costume, the look of the film, the color grading, everything. I can look at this technical masterpiece and say this is flawless, this is absolutely brilliant. But then when it comes down to the story of this film, I am not that interested. The story kicks off with a man in a blood bank, and he goes to donate blood.
They even buy it in the jar.
But then the vampires show up, they trick him, and they reveal their true selves, while at the same time, this man named Jared Nomak reveals his true self to be this creature that is unknown at this time, but he kills these vampires and he says the line that he hates vampires, and so now we're off to the races. And then after that, we get this opening credit title sequence where Blade is explaining, oh yeah, I'm gonna go hunt Whistler, even though I thought Whistler was dead in the original film, so I'm like, what is this? I'm thinking, okay, so the entire film is going to be about Blade tracking down Whistler because he said he's hunting him.
I should have finished him off. Now I'm hunting him.
He's not looking for him. He's hunting him. So I'm thinking, okay, yeah, we're gonna get a showdown between Whistler and Blade at some point in this film, because that's what this is about, that whole side opening sequence vampire thing. I don't know what that is, but now we got something else here. But then no, this whole little opening monologue, which makes no sense to me because I just hate narration, and they only use it once. I mean, I understand it because, you know, you have to explain the events of the first film for people who didn't see the first film, but then you shouldn't have to, because this is called Blade 2. It's not Blade something else, you know. It's like, this is part 2, so if you haven't seen the first one, why are you watching part 2? I don't understand.
My name is Blade.
No, duh.
But then, you know, we get the cool action, we get the cool sound effects. You know, I love the inner lining of like a red cape inside of Blade's, you know, leather coat, and everything is cool, you know, and Blade is back with the character personality. But the entire time I'm watching this, I just can't help myself. I'm thinking this opening is nowhere near as good as the original film. But it does show Blade doing some more martial arts in a more polished way. You can tell that they upped the ante, they upped the budget on this film. It looks more glossy, more polished, more stylish.
Old man, look at what they've done to you.
Blade finds Whistler, and then they try to build this story about, can you trust Whistler? Is Whistler a vampire? Is blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, man, who cares? I mean, you could really literally take Whistler, Chris Christopherson, I love him. He's great as his character. He's more nurturing in this film, but you could take his character out easily, and it changes nothing.
You didn't give up on me. I won't give up on you. Come on, Blade.
But then who could have rescued Blade other than Whistler? Maybe Nisa could have rescued Blade. They should have developed that relationship a little bit more.
You wanna hear something funny? Blade kind of looks at you like a father figure.
But yeah, I feel like this whole Whistler return thing and his turncoat, whatever, is just pointless, because it just leads into, oh, Norman Reedus, the Scud, whatever his name is.
Tell me something, Skid.
No, man, it's Scud. Scud like stud, Scud.
Whatever.
He was the villain the whole time, and they do mention it throughout the film. Yeah, the man, the person on the inside of Blade's organization is feeding us information. Everything is going as scripted.
I've been informed by our friend inside that events are unfolding as scripted.
But then Blade does say that line, you know, you gotta keep your friends close and keep your enemies closer. So they're doing this whole twisty-roo thing with Whistler and Scud and Blade, and then Nisa and all this love relationship too, man. This love relationship with Nisa is just forced, man. Like this, I don't like this relationship Blade has with Nisa.
Getting stupid with a vampire? That's beyond kinky, son.
What's your problem?
Why is Blade even falling in love with this woman at all? Is it because she said that line?
I'm at peace with what I am a long time ago.
And that somehow strikes a nerve with Blade and it hits his emotional chord? Or is it that time where Blade got bested in a sword fight, and once the assailant took off their mask and revealed themselves to be a woman, Blade instantly fell in love with the first person that had the power to take his manhood away from him?
No, Druk! Je Koljenic, no. Je Balkan.
And since we're on the subject, that sword fight is cool. The cinematography is nice. The musical score really gets me in the mood. You know, the fight choreography, all of that stuff is amazing. But then when you really think about it, Blade is standing so far away that they could have just been like, oh man, don't shoot at us. We don't want to fight. We're just going to take off our mask and reveal, hey, we need your help. But no, what if Blade had killed you? Then it would have been a bigger deal, and then Blade would have never known about the Reapers and all this kind of stuff. It just makes no sense to me.
How many more are you willing to sacrifice?
Everyone?
Even your own daughter?
It's all a big plot. It's all a big plan, because the legendary Demaskinos, the man who is like Nosferatu, and he's old and he's been living for centuries, and he's like the grand vampire or whatever. He created these Reapers, so he created Nomak. And he created them because he wants to make a new, pure race.
Immune to silver. Soon even sunlight.
And the missing key is Blade. The missing key's always Blade. So this whole grand scheme is to, like, they want to kill the Reapers, and then once they kill the Reapers because, you know, it was a freak accident in a science lab, then once they're dead, then they kidnap Blade, which is their main purpose, and then they do the same thing that they did at the end of the first movie by draining his blood. This whole story, just too much going on. This thing is all over the place to me. And the Reapers are cool. The Reapers are cool. I love the Reapers in this movie. It's a cool design. I love the unique nature they have where they open their mouths and it's gross and then this tongue comes out like when they first reveal the Reapers and how they feed. It is gross.
The combination of using physical prosthetics and CG prosthetics.
Very good. Sucking. Excellent. Sucking. Let him go closer to his neck. And cut.
The CG that they're using for my character particularly, it's just like you think, wow, this is an unbelievable amount of work, and the expense and the kind of just the effort that's gone into these puppets, and the whole kind of behind the scenes thing is fascinating.
So Blade has to work with this vampire group called the Blood Pack, and we meet each individual person. We see Donnie Yen up in there, and Donnie Yen is doing his thing. And then we have Ron Perlman in this thing. And we already know the history, the story as film fans between Ron Perlman and Guillermo del Toro. It's like Martin Scorsese and Leonardo DiCaprio. They're just meant to be together. Ron Perlman tries to intimidate Blade, but instead he gets a bomb strapped to the back of his head for his trouble. Throughout the film, Ron Perlman and Blade have a back and forth rivalry that ultimately leads to the bomb being revealed as a dud because Scud was a vampire mole the entire time. However, it is then revealed that the bomb is not a dud and Blade was onto Scud the whole time.
Oh my God! The whole time!
So Blade set this up to kill Scud? But what if Blade had never been captured? What would have happened then? I don't know.
But wait! There's more!
You could argue there is a moment where they are captured, and Scud reveals that the workshop had been destroyed, but then Whistler interrupts and pulls Blade to the side and reveals that the Reaper strain has been designed by Demaskinos. And when he leaves the room, Ron Perlman shoots Blade in the leg, and when Blade threatens to kill Ron Perlman, as you can see in this shot, Blade flips the device over and pushes the button. Then
it's not a dud.
Oh, great.
Maybe if you examine the details, you'll find something interesting in these subtle little things. I don't know, maybe I'm just nuts. There's just too much going on in this movie, and it's driving me crazy. So then the Blood Pack and Blade, they go on the hunt, they go to this nightclub, and immediately I just can't help myself. I'm like, this nightclub, this music, it sucks. It's got nothing on the original opening scene. But we see the Reapers, they attack one of the members, they kill one of the members, and this guy named Hammer, you know, he's got this girlfriend, and he gets attacked, and then he doesn't reveal that he got bitten, and then, you know, later on, just to kill everybody off fairly quickly, you know, Hammer is all of a sudden infected, and then he kills Donnie Yen off screen, which is stupid. Whatever.
Man, don't waste the bullets! Motherfucker. You hit me, Tupac!
Say cheese! Tupac or Tupac, whatever the hell you want to call him, he comes in and he tries to beat up Whistler, and then Whistler puts out that stink, which is some pheromones they got from the Reapers to attract them to them. So the only thing that can save Whistler's life are the Reapers.
What the hell is this? You try to stink me to death, old man?
And everybody gets attacked, and it's just like this kind of nightmarish scenario where you got like a dozen Reapers and they're everywhere. I mean, I do like how they established the Reapers in this film. They do seem like a threat, you know, and I do like the little autopsy scene they do where they investigate how to kill these things. I do feel like the whole Reaper strain situation is the best part of the movie. But then eventually, you know, Blade, you know, he saves everybody's life, he kills all these Reapers, but then, woo-ah, these people, they turn on him.
Now this might hurt a bit.
The same thing, man. The same thing. Cool.
These kicks, the way Blade kills people in this scene is brutal. And then they bring back more nostalgia where Blade, you know, he can't have his final showdown without his signature shades. And then during our final showdown, you know, Demaskinos, he tries to run away, tries to sweet talk Nomak, but Nomak ain't having none of that. Nomak kills his father, which has been his purpose this whole time.
He's old, and that's life.
He attacks Nisa, and then Blade and Nomak have their final showdown, and on top of that, the first confrontation that Nomak and Blade had was very cool. I like that they fought twice in this film instead of just building it up to the end. And you can tell Nomak is very powerful as well, because in their first confrontation, Nomak bests Blade, and the only way Blade gets the upper hand is through sunlight. And in the second fight, Blade totally gets bested. He gets his ass handed to him. Nomak throws him around the room, and the funniest thing about all of it is his glasses stay intact.
The same thing, man. The same thing.
This fight is good, man. I will say that this fight between Nomak and Blade is better than the fight in the original film between Deacon Frost and Blade. I do love how they go all fisticuffs and they're doing wrestling moves, and then Blade breaks his arm and the bone comes out. All that stuff is flawless. And then the beautiful thing about all of it is that Blade is getting his ass kicked so much that he has to use a weapon. He can't beat this man one-on-one with his bare hands, so he sneaks attacks Nomak and stabs him in the chest, and then tries to penetrate that heart where, you know, it's cemented in bone, and he tries to penetrate it, and then Nomak is dying, but Nomak can easily take the sword out and continue to fight Blade and kill him. That's how powerful he is. But then he says that line that it hurts. It hurts no more. And in that moment, he kills himself. So Blade didn't defeat Nomak. Nomak killed himself. And it all makes sense. I understand why Nomak killed himself, and he said that line is because the only thing he wanted to do in his life is get to his father and kill his father, kill the person that created him. Even Blade says this.
He wants revenge on the people who created him.
Fuck this.
And Nisa and Blade have their little heartfelt moment, which I mean, it's nice because the music makes it feel nice, but then just thinking about it, I'm like, there's just nothing here that I just don't care. So then she's dead, and it's just like, I guess Blade is just destined to be alone for the rest of his life. You know, Blade will never ever have a companion. And then the movie closes with Blade attacking and killing a man that he attacked and tried to kill in the opening of this movie. There was a man that he let go, and he said, "I'll catch you later." And then so it concludes with Blade being a badass.
Well, you didn't think I forgot about you, did you?
So then the movie's over, ending credits, and I say to myself, yeah, this movie's good. It's better than the first one on a technical level, but the story is batshit crazy. It's all over the place, but it's easily digestible. But at the same time, I feel like there's just so much going on to where overall I think it's just a bonkers, wild and crazy, fun thrill ride. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy the mayhem. I look at this from the perspective of if you've seen the first Terminator film and you enjoyed how dark that film was, and then you go and watch Terminator 2 thinking it's going to have that exact same tone, but then you realize that it's more of an action-oriented film, you might be a little disappointed depending on your preferences. I really enjoyed the first Blade film a lot more. The whole Deacon Frost situation with Blade's mom felt more personal to me. Story-wise, the first Blade felt a lot simpler than what we got in Blade 2. You can say I have my nostalgia blinders on, I'm biased because I love the first film so much, and you know what? You might be right, but I will say that there are things in Blade 2 that I do enjoy, that I love, that I have a lot of fun with, and I have no problem with that. There are things in Blade 2 that I prefer over the first film, and so overall, I had a crazy fun time with this movie. That's all I have to say.
I against I, flesh in my flesh, your mind, my mind. I gotta get a pop.
It's good. It hurts. I know it does. That's it. Get it.
I'm like getting the feeling of coming in the gym. I'm getting the feeling of coming at home. I'm getting the feeling of coming backstage when I pump up, when I pose out in front of 5,000 people. I get the same feeling. So I'm coming day and night.
Straight up. Man.
I'm never done. Walk tall, why ever run? When they move, if I ever come.